The saloon owner hired her to scare cowboys away, but they kept coming back. May Turner was hauling water from the well when her brother found her. "May." Tommy's voice came from behind. She didn't turn. Kept walking, buckets heavy in each hand. "May, stop." She set the buckets down and turned. Tommy stood in the road, hat in his hands, jaw bruised purple. "Again. Third time this month. You need to work at Jack's saloon." May froze. "The saloon?" Her voice was quiet. "Tommy, that's no place for a woman. You come home bleeding every night. Those men are dangerous. That's why you need to go." Tommy's eyes didn't meet hers. "Jack says if I can't handle the job, I'm fired. He told me to find someone stronger. Someone who can deal with the rowdy ones." May's throat tightened. "You want me to take the beatings instead of you? I want you to help our family," he snapped. "We need money. Mama needs medicine. You've been turned away from every decent job. At least Jack's willing to give you a chance." She searched his face for guilt. Found only desperation. "Those men fight. They destroy things. What makes you think I can handle them when you can't?" "Because you're stronger than I am," he said bitterly. "Always have been. Maybe they'll think twice before crossing you." Before May could respond, their mother appeared on the road behind him. "Go, May," she said flatly. "Your brother needs this job. We need to eat." "Mama, please. There must be another way." "They already said no." Her mother's face was stone. "Every place turned you away. Too big. Too much trouble. This is the only offer you'll get. Take it or we starve." May stood in the dust, her family walking away. Her own mother sending her into danger because she was the last thing left to sacrifice. "When do I start?" Her voice was steady. "Tonight." Tommy handed her a folded apron. "Jack opens at sundown." He left. May stared at the rough, whiskey-stained cloth in her hands. No choice. Nowhere else to go. That evening, as the sun bled red across the horizon, May Turner walked down the dusty main street toward Jack Brennan's saloon. Her heart hammered. Her hands shook. She forced them still. The saloon loomed ahead, alive with noise, shouting, glass shattering, laughter like thunder. May stopped at the door, listening. She almost turned back. But there was nowhere to go. She pushed it open. Inside, two men were fighting near the bar. One slammed the other against it, blood streaking down his face. Chairs lay broken. Cowboys stood watching, cheering, betting. No one noticed May, until the door banged shut behind her. Silence fell. 30 pairs of eyes turned. One fighter, big, missing a tooth, straightened, blood on his mouth. He stared, then laughed. "Well, what in God's name is this? Brennan, you order yourself a cow?" Laughter erupted. "Hush. Cruel." May's face burned. Every instinct screamed to run. But her mother's words echoed. "We starve." She lifted her chin and walked forward through the jeers. The crowd parted, mocking smiles following her. Behind the bar stood a man in his 30s, dark hair, strong jaw, sleeves rolled to his elbows. He wasn't laughing. His gaze was cool, assessing. "Jack Brennan. You're Tommy's sister," he said. "Yes," May answered. "He said you needed help." The toothless man came closer, circling her. "This your solution, Jack? Hiring the town joke." Jack's jaw tightened. "Get back to your table, Wyatt." "Come on, Jack. Look at her. She's bigger than half the men here. You really think?" "I said get back," Jack cut in, voice low and dangerous. "Or get out." Wyatt grinned and retreated, still laughing. Jack turned to May, studying her, the size, the worn dress, the way she braced herself like she'd been struck too many times. But beneath it all, something unbroken. "Can you pour drinks without spilling?" "Yes." "Count money?" Yes. Stand there while men insult you and not run crying? May thought of her father's drunken rages, her mother's cold eyes, her brother's betrayal, every rejection from every shop. Yes, she said quietly. Jack nodded, faint respect in his face. Then you're hired. Tie on that apron. May's hands trembled as she tied it around her waist. Pour drinks, collect payment, Jack instructed. 3 cents for whiskey, 5 for the good stuff. If they don't pay, don't serve. If they get violent, he paused. Call for me. If I'm not here, handle it however you can. May swallowed. What if I can't? Then you will. His tone was certain. I'm not hiring you out of pity. I think you can survive this. Don't prove me wrong. May nodded, unable to speak. Jack turned to the room. This is May. She works here now. You want a drink? Ask nicely. You want trouble? Get out. Clear. A murmur of assent. Wyatt laughed from his table. This should be entertaining. Jack ignored him and looked at May one last time. First customers walking up. Show me I was right. Then he disappeared into the back room. May turned. A cowboy swaggered toward the bar, grinning. Pour me a whiskey, fat girl. May reached for the bottle with shaking hands. Her first night had begun, and she was completely, terrifyingly alone. The first insult came within 5 minutes. What in God's name is that? A man with tobacco-stained teeth leaned against the bar, grinning wide. Brennan, you hire a bear? His friends howled. One slapped the counter. She's big as a wagon. May kept her face blank. Reached for a bottle. Poured whiskey without looking up. 3 cents. The man leaned closer, breath sour with liquor. I've seen prettier mules. May's hands trembled. She gripped the bar edge to steady them. Her father's voice echoed in her mind. When they're drunk, stay calm. Don't react. Wait for the storm to pass. 3 cents, she repeated, voice steady. He threw the coins at her face. They hit her cheek, clattered to the floor. Laughter erupted. May bent down, picked up each coin slowly, straightened, met his eyes. Thank you. Her voice was ice. Something in her tone made his grin falter. He turned away, muttering. May exhaled slowly. 1 down. Dozens more to go. The night stretched ahead like a nightmare, drunken shouts, slamming doors, glass breaking. By the second night, the laughter turned meaner. A man reached over the bar, snatched a shot from her tray, and downed it. Put it on Brennan's tab, he said. May leaned in. You pay or you leave thirsty. He smirked. You gonna stop me? May met his eyes until the grin slipped from his face. Then she took the glass from his hand, turned it upside down, and let the last drops spill onto the floor. The room went quiet. He lunged across the counter, furious, but Jack appeared beside her like a shadow. Out, he said. The man froze under Jack's stare, then spat on the floor and stormed out. Jack didn't look at May, just said, You did right, and went back to work. It was the closest thing to praise she'd ever gotten. By the third night, they tested her differently. A drunk cowboy grabbed her wrist as she reached across the bar, twisting it hard. You're awful uppity for someone so ugly. Pain shot up her arm. She remembered her father's grip, the same cruel strength. She twisted fast, broke his hold, caught his hand, and bent his fingers back until he gasped. Let go of me again, she said low, and I'll break them. She released him. He stumbled back, cradling his hand, face red with shock and rage. The saloon went still. May's heart hammered. She waited for the blow. It didn't come. Not then. But she saw the way they looked at her after, half amusement, half warning. They remembered. By the end of the week, her arms ached from carrying bottles, her throat burned from smoke, and her ears rang with insults. She had seen knives pulled over debts, had ducked a flying mug that shattered against the wall behind her. Once, two men started fighting with chairs, and one of them crashed into her, sending her sprawling. She hit the floor hard, breath knocked out. Jack dragged them both out by the collar before they could hurt her worse. When she got up, glass stuck to her palms. Her knuckles bled. She finished her shift anyway. The fourth night, a man named Colt walked in. May knew the name. Tommy had come home with broken ribs twice because of him. Big. Mean. The kind who smiled when others flinched. He walked straight to the bar, eyes fixed on her. "So you're the one Brennan thinks can handle us." May poured whiskey. 3 cents. Colt smiled without warmth. "What if I don't pay?" "Then you don't drink." He leaned closer. "What if I take it anyway?" "Then you'll regret it." Colt laughed, a sound that froze the room. He grabbed May by the front of her dress and yanked her across the bar. "You think you can stop me, fat girl?" May's mind went white with fear and fury. She grabbed the nearest bottle and swung. It shattered against his temple. He roared and lunged again, hand closing around her throat. Before she could choke, Jack was there. He hauled Colt backward with shocking force and threw him through the open doors. Colt hit the dirt outside, bleeding from the head. Jack stood in the doorway, chest heaving. "Don't come back." Colt spat blood, glared, but he left. When Jack turned, May was sitting on the floor behind the bar, back pressed to the wood, shaking. He crossed to her and knelt. "Are you hurt?" May shook her head, voice gone. Her throat burned where Colt had grabbed her. Jack's tone softened. "I won't let them hurt you. Not while you work for me. You understand?" May looked at him, eyes wet but defiant. No one had ever said that before. Jack offered his hand. She took it. He pulled her to her feet. "You're stronger than anyone I've hired," he said quietly. "But you don't have to fight alone." His jaw tightened. "I'm here." May could only nod. Her voice wouldn't come. Later that night, after closing, she sat on the back steps. Her arms ached, her throat throbbed, and her whole body felt like stone. The door creaked open behind her. Jack stepped out, lit a cigarette, and sat down beside her. He didn't ask if she was okay. Didn't tell her to be tougher. They sat in silence under the stars. The night air was cool, the noise of the saloon finally gone. May stared at her hands. The skin across her knuckles was torn, her nails blackened from work. "You shouldn't have to fight like that," Jack said quietly. "Then who would?" she answered. "Men like Colt only stop when someone hits back." Jack didn't reply, but his jaw flexed. There was a respect in his silence she hadn't felt from anyone before. For a long moment, neither spoke. The crickets sang. A distant horse whinnied in the dark. May's hands stopped shaking. Jack's presence, solid and steady beside her, felt like the first safe thing she'd known in years. "Thank you," she whispered. He nodded, eyes still on the horizon. But he stayed until she was ready to go home. And for the first time since her father died, May didn't feel completely alone. 2 weeks passed. May learned to read the Cowboys. Which ones were dangerous? Which ones were just lonely? How to deflect insults with silence. When to stand her ground. When to step back. The rowdy ones stopped coming. Word spread that Brennan's saloon wasn't the place for trouble anymore. That big woman didn't tolerate it. But something strange happened. The decent men kept coming back. They didn't come to fight or drink themselves senseless. They came to talk to May. At first, she didn't understand it. But slowly she realized. These men had no one else who listened. No one who treated them like they mattered. Sometimes they told her stories of the trail, of brothers they lost, of wives who stopped waiting. She listened without judgment, polishing glasses, her eyes steady and kind. One evening, a young cowboy named Ben stumbled through the door. drunk. Wedding ring on his finger. May poured his whiskey. Set it down. Ben reached for it with shaking hands. The door opened behind him. A woman stood there. Thin. Exhausted. Holding a baby wrapped in a threadbare blanket. Ben, please. Her voice broke. Come home. We have no food. You spent the money. Ben didn't turn around. Leave me alone, Mary. The woman's face crumpled. The baby started crying. May looked at the woman. At the baby. And something inside her broke open. She saw herself, 10 years old, standing in a doorway, watching her mother beg her father to stop drinking. To come home. To choose them. He never did. May reached across the bar. Took the whiskey glass from Ben's hand. No. Ben looked up, bleary-eyed. What? I said no. May's voice was steady. Your wife is standing there with your child. They are hungry. And you want a drink. I will not help you do that. Ben's face flushed with anger. You do not get to tell me what to do. You're right. I do not. May set the glass behind the bar, out of reach. But I will not pour whiskey for a man who chooses it over his family. Go home, Ben. Feed your child. Ben stood. Fists clenched. For a moment, May thought he would strike her. Then his wife spoke. Ben. Please. Something in her voice broke through the fog. Ben looked at his wife. At the baby. His face crumpled. He walked to them. Put his arms around his wife. She sobbed into his shoulder. They left together. The saloon was silent. Then an older cowboy at the back stood up. Weathered face. Gray beard. He looked at May with something like recognition. You remind me of my daughter. His voice was rough. She deserved better than me too. He set coins on the bar. Tipped his hat. Left without drinking. Another cowboy stepped forward. Younger. Nervous. Ma'am, my name is Cole. I just wanted to say, he hesitated. Thank you. For caring. Most people do not. May's throat tightened. I am just doing my job. No. Cole shook his head. You are doing more than that. You treat us like we are worth something. Like we are not just dirt. May didn't know what to say. Cole tipped his hat. Walked out. One by one, other cowboys approached. Not to drink. Just to nod. To thank her. To be seen. When the last one left, May stood behind the bar, trembling with exhaustion and something close to hope. Jack emerged from the back room. He'd watched the entire thing. He crossed to her. What you just did. I could not let him. May's voice broke. I could not watch him choose whiskey over his child. I know what that does. I lived it. Jack's expression softened. Your father? May nodded. Couldn't speak. Jack was quiet a long moment. Then, carefully, my wife left me 3 years ago. Said I cared more about this saloon than I did about her. Maybe she was right. Maybe I did not know how to let anyone in. May looked at him. Saw the loneliness in his eyes. The same ache she carried. Or maybe, she said quietly, she did not understand what it meant to build something with your own hands. To fight for something you believe in. Jack stared at her. Something shifted in his expression. You see things other people miss, he said finally. May wiped her eyes. So do you. They stood together in the quiet saloon. Two wounded people who understood each other in ways no one else could. Outside, the wind rustled through the empty street. The lamps flickered low. Inside, something fragile and precious had begun to grow. Neither of them named it. Not yet. But they both felt it. The trouble came on a Thursday evening. May was wiping down tables when the saloon doors banged open. 5 women marched in, dressed in Sunday best, faces hard with righteous fury. Leading them was Mrs. Thornton, the minister's wife. Her cold eyes swept the room. This ends tonight. Every cowboy went silent. May straightened slowly, rag still in her hands. Mrs. Thornton pointed at May like she was pointing at disease. That woman is a disgrace to this town. Unmarried. Working in a saloon with men. It is improper. Indecent. We will not tolerate it any longer. Another woman stepped forward. Mrs. Fletcher. Her voice dripped venom. Our husbands spend their evenings here. Our sons come here. And she spat the word. She is corrupting them with her presence. May's hands clenched around the rag. She forced them to relax. Stayed silent. Mrs. Thornton turned to Jack, who stood behind the bar. Mr. Brennan, you will fire her immediately. Or every decent family in this town will boycott your establishment. You will lose everything. Jack's jaw tightened. May has done nothing wrong. Her existence here is wrong. Mrs. Thornton's voice was steel. An unmarried woman working with men, unchaperoned, in a place of drink. It is scandalous. It makes our town look lawless. Fire her. Tonight. Before Jack could respond, the door opened again. Tommy walked in. May's heart dropped into her stomach. Her brother looked around the saloon. Saw the gathered women. Saw May standing there with the rag in her hands, face pale. His expression hardened. Jack, fire my sister. The words fell like stones into water. Ripples of shock spread through the room. May couldn't breathe. Jack stared. What did you say? You heard me. Tommy crossed his arms. His voice was cold. Certain. May is my sister. I know her better than anyone in this room. And even I think she should not be here. It is not proper. She is unmarried. She has no business working in a saloon with men. He looked directly at May. His eyes were empty of anything resembling love. It makes our family look bad. Fire her. May stood frozen. Her own brother. Betraying her in front of everyone. The saloon was utterly, devastatingly silent. Then a chair scraped. The older cowboy, the one who'd said May reminded him of his daughter, stood up. Mrs. Thornton, you say May is corrupting us? The woman lifted her chin. I do. Then you are a fool. His voice was calm. Hard as iron. Before May came here, I drank until I could not walk. I fought men over nothing. I went home to my wife with bloody knuckles and empty pockets and hate in my heart. He stepped toward the women. May asked me one night why I drank so much. I told her I was afraid I had wasted my life. That I was not worth anything. You know what she said? His voice roughened. She said fear does not make you weak. It makes you human. And humans can change if they choose to. He looked at May. I have not had a drink in 2 weeks. I go home to my wife sober now. My daughter does not flinch when I walk through the door anymore. Because May gave me a reason to be better. Another cowboy stood. Then another. Cole, the nervous young one, spoke. May is the only person in this town who treats us like we matter. Like we are not just dirt under your boots. A rancher stood. She saved my marriage. I was drinking our money away. May refused to serve me. Told me to go home and feed my family. I did. We are happy now. Because May cared enough to tell me no. One by one, the cowboys stood. 15 of them. 20. Every decent man in the saloon. They stood between May and the women. A wall of quiet, unshakable loyalty. Then Colt stepped forward. The man who'd attacked May. Who'd been thrown out. Who everyone expected to hate her. He looked at Mrs. Thornton. May is tougher than any man in this room. Including me. She stood up to me when I was at my worst. She did not back down. His voice was rough. Honest. If you run her out, you lose the only person in this town who gives a damn about whether we live or die. Mrs. Thornton's face flushed red. This is absurd. She is just. She is what this town needs. Jack's voice cut through like a blade. He stepped out from behind the bar. Faced Tommy. You brought May here to take beatings for you. You used her as a shield because you were too weak to do your own job. Jack's voice dropped to something cold and dangerous. And now you stand here and betray her to save your own reputation. You are a coward, Tommy. Get out. Tommy's face went white. You cannot. I just did. You are fired. Get out of my saloon. Do not come back. Tommy looked at May. She stared back. Face blank. Eyes burning. He turned and left. The door slammed behind him. Mrs. Thornton glared at Jack. You will regret this. Maybe. Jack moved to stand beside May. But she stays. Anyone who does not like it can leave. The women left in furious silence. The door closed. May stood trembling. Tears streamed down her face. The cowboys, one by one, tipped their hats to her. Then quietly left, giving her space. When the last one was gone, May's knees buckled. Jack caught her, held her steady. I am sorry, she whispered. I am so sorry. I have ruined everything. No. Jack's voice was fierce. You have not ruined anything. Your brother is the one who should be sorry. Your family is the one who failed you. Not the other way around. May looked up at him through tears. Why did you defend me? You could lose your business. Jack looked at her, jaw tight, but said nothing. Outside, the wind howled through the cracks in the door. Inside, the saloon stood silent, waiting for what would come next. 3 days later, a man in a fine suit walked into the saloon at noon. May was sweeping when he entered. She looked up. Miss Turner? His voice was smooth, professional. May set down the broom. Yes. My name is Mr. Hollis. I own the Grand Hotel on the east side of town. I have heard about your situation here. He smiled. Polite. Distant. I would like to offer you a position. Housekeeper. Respectable work. Better pay than you are making here. You would not have to deal with drunks or judgment or saloons anymore. May stared at him. You want to hire me? I do. You have proven yourself capable. Exactly what I need. He pulled a card from his pocket. Set it on the bar. Think about it. The offer stands for 1 week. He tipped his hat and left. May picked up the card. Read it slowly. Set it down. Better pay. Respectable work. Away from the chaos and the whiskey and the judgment. Away from Jack. That evening, May served drinks in silence. Her mind elsewhere. Jack noticed. What is wrong? Nothing. May. She sighed. Set down the bottle. Someone offered me a job. Housekeeper at the Grand Hotel. Better pay. Respectable. Jack's face went carefully blank. When do you start? I have not decided yet. Jack nodded. Turned away. But his hands gripped the bar edge so hard his knuckles went white. That night, after closing, May sat on the back steps. Stars filled the sky. The air was cool and quiet. The door opened behind her. Jack sat down beside her. They were silent for a long moment. Finally, Jack spoke. You should take the job. May looked at him, surprised. It is better for you. Safer. Respectable. Jack's voice was rough. You deserve that. And what about the saloon? I will manage. I always have. May studied his profile. The tight jaw. The way he would not meet her eyes. Jack, why do you want me to leave? I do not. Then why did you say I should take the job? Jack's hands clenched. Because you deserve better than this. Better than serving drinks to cowboys who used to mock you. Better than fighting this town every day just to exist. He finally looked at her. Better than me. May's breath caught. Jack stood abruptly. Paced across the small yard. I hired you because I was desperate. Because I thought you might be able to help me save this place. I did not see you. I saw a solution. His voice broke. And even though I know better now, even though you are the best thing that has ever happened to me, I still do not deserve you. So you should take that job. Go somewhere you will be valued. Not just needed. May stood. Crossed to where he stood. Jack, look at me. He did. Reluctantly. Do you know why I have not taken that job yet? Jack shook his head. Because for the first time in my life, I am not just surviving. I am living. I matter here. To those cowboys. To this place. She paused. Her voice softened. To you. Jack's throat worked. May. You hired me because you thought I could help. And I did. But you kept me because you saw who I really am. That matters more to me than any respectable job ever could. Jack stared at her. You are staying? If you want me to. Want you to? Jack's voice was raw. May, when I think about you leaving, I cannot breathe. When I imagine this place without you, it feels empty. Dead. He stepped closer. You are not just good for business. You are not just someone I hired. You are. He stopped. Struggled. Then, finally, you are everything. May's eyes filled with tears. You mean that? I do. Jack took her hands. Held them carefully. I know I am not good at this. At saying what I feel. But May, I love you. And if you will stay, I will spend every day proving you made the right choice. May's tears spilled over. How? I want to make you a partner. Equal owner. Your name on the sign beside mine. Because this place is as much yours as it is mine. You built this. You made it something worth saving. His voice was steady now. Certain. I do not want an employee. I want a partner. Someone who stands beside me. As an equal. May looked at their joined hands. Then up at his face. Partner. Yes. Jack's eyes held hers. If you will have me. May smiled through her tears. Yes. Jack exhaled. Relief and joy flooded his face. He pulled her close. Wrapped his arms around her. May pressed her face against his chest and felt, for the first time in her life, completely safe. Thank you, she whispered. For what? For seeing me. Jack's arms tightened. Thank you for staying. They stood together under the stars. Two people who had been thrown away by the world, who had found something precious in each other. The next morning, they stood outside the saloon together. A new sign hung above the door. Brennan and Turner's Saloon. Cole was the first to arrive. He stopped, stared at the sign, then broke into a wide grin. Well, I will be damned. Other cowboys arrived, saw the sign. One by one, they tipped their hats to May. Ma'am. Miss Turner. Partner. Colt was the last to arrive. He stopped in front of May. Looked at the sign. Then at her. You earned it. His voice was gruff. Honest. We are lucky to have you. May's throat tightened. Thank you. Colt nodded. Went inside. Jack stood beside May, watching the cowboys file in. His hand found hers. Ready? May looked at the sign. At the saloon. At the man beside her who had given her a chance when no one else would. Yes. They walked in together. Partners. Equals. The saloon filled with voices. Laughter. The sound of good men treating each other with dignity. May stood behind the bar, Jack beside her, and realized something profound. She had been hired to scare people away. Instead, she had given them a reason to come home. And in the process, she had found a home of her own.